Hi. Hello, my babies. Welcome back to another episode. It's your girl, MamMaJ, aka MamMaJ, and you are listening to MamMaJism. This is week 4. Yesterday I said week 3. Yeah, it's week 4, season 2, episode 16 of Podsmas. We're just gonna hop right into it. Oh, wait, no, we're not. Because I have to tell you what the holiday challenge is for this week. So, for this week, I challenge all of you to reach out to a loved one. We're keeping it simple this week. You know, it's the holiday season. If you celebrate Christmas, Kwanzaa, or if you celebrated Hanukkah, you already sorry, I got a little too close to the mic. You already reached out to your peeps, I'm sure. But maybe take an extra day this week. Maybe leading up to or after the holidays. Reach out to them. Say what's up. Check in. See what's going on. See how they're, especially since most of us probably, aren't going to be seeing our families. So take that extra time to check in, see how they're doing, if there's any way that you can help virtually or something. And that is the holiday challenge for this week. Now, today's episode. Okay, so yesterday it was the Saturn and Jupiter conjunction, right? The great conjunction. Did y'all feel the energy? My back hurts. I don't know if that's related or not. I could not sleep. I could sleep last night. The night prior, I was tossing and turning, waiting for my powers to activate. It didn't happen. Just kidding, because we already have our powers within us. Duh. But how did y'all feel yesterday? It was an interesting day. It was a very interesting day. I was very, very tired. But again, I think that had more to do with me tossing and turning the night before than anything else. But I got some good meditation in, and it was beautiful. I loved it. And so today I felt like, since I was talking about how that energy was a perfect time for us to manifest and start building what we want to accomplish and achieve for the future, I wanted to talk a little bit about light work and shadow work. I know those sound like very mystical, but hear me out, okay? Don't click away just yet. Now, when we're talking about doing the work, right? When you tell someone, well, you got to do the work, I like to think that this is a big part of that work. So, if you're familiar with yin and yang, I like to compare it to that. Now, I'm not licensed in anything. I only know what I learned from YouTube Academy and Google Academy. Okay, so and those are not real schools, by the way, just in case I have some literal folks listening. So I really only know what I've learned through research. And if you're familiar with yin and yang, that's like, polar opposites coming together to, create, a whole whatever. So inside ourselves, we got the yin and the yang, we got the good, we got the bad. Or I wouldn't even categorize it as good or bad. I would categorize it more as like the parts of us that we aren't afraid to show other people. And then the other side would be the parts of us that we try and kind of hide and keep away, keep to ourselves so that others don't view us a certain way. Right. So that's basically what light work and shadow work is. So I'm gonna get into light work first. So what is light work? It is a process of soul healing, right? So that's when we're talking about self-love and creating that space for yourself to nurture yourself, kind of catering to that inner child, being there for you, and kind of like building those steps to create that relationship and that bond with yourself, your inner self, right? Your soul. And this is also kind of like, this is where like the chakras and stuff come into place, which could be a separate episode if you'd like. But yeah, so when we're talking about chakras, right, basically when we have all these chakras, it's like a straight line up our body. And so if any part of our chakras are like off, if they're blocked, as you can say, like there's a throat chakra, for example. So if your throat chakra is blocked, then that means it's hard for you to kind of like speak your truth. Those are kind of, so the goal is basically to unblock all of your chakras so that you can connect not only with yourself, but with source. Light work is pretty important. So ways that you can work on your light work is, that's when, you bring meditation into play. So meditation is the way that I go about it. because like I've mentioned plenty of times before, meditation has really helped me to connect with myself, and help heal anyway, nurturing that inner child of mine. You know, she's been neglected. So we working on it though. We working on it. Now on to the fun bit. Shadow work, right? Okay, so what is shadow work? So shadow work is the process of exploring your shadow self. So the things that you feel shame for thinking and feeling. So these are the repressed ideas and impulse desires that we've locked away either consciously or subconsciously. Some people, when they have a traumatic experience happen, they black out, right? And they just don't remember any details. And it takes work. It takes them going to therapy or trying to uncover whatever it is that their mind has blacked out for them. So shadow work is kind of like that. Like, there are bits that we know, we see on this, like we know is in our heads that we're thinking that we're trying to push back. And there are other things that like our subconscious is maybe trying to protect us from, or that we're like, we're just going to hide it all the way in the back of our heads. Don't even think about it because we don't want people to think that we are this type of person, right? Shadow work is basically an attempt to uncover those parts of you so that you can heal even further. So I like to think that light work is kind of where you want to start, because the shadow work is some heavy shit. It's not something that you really want to dive into unless you're really ready for it. If you are struggling with your confidence and your security in yourself, I wouldn't recommend doing shadow work until you've kind of reached to that next level in your healing process. So it'll come with time for sure. You got to be patient with yourself, as with all things, right? But shadow work is definitely, it's heavy. It's a load. It's a lot. You're literally facing your quote unquote inner demon. And you don't want to face that bad boy without the proper tools and without being fully prepared, right? You know, like you going into battle. So you want to make sure that you're ready. You bulked up. You got what you need to make it out. So this example that I tried to make up, but I don't know anything about gardening, not that much. But like, if you were to think of shadow work, why it's important for us to actually face it and uncover it. If you were to think of gardening, right? I don't know how pesticides work, but let's just say pesticides were these seeds. They were these seeds that prevent you from growing things, right? So you can't bury pesticides in the ground and also bury like plant seeds, whatever, into the ground as well. And you can't expect those plants and those flowers to grow because you put it in an environment with these pesticides that are basically killing this plant, right? So what you have to do is unbury those pesticide seeds, take them out so that your plants can grow and be in a healthy environment to thrive. You know what I mean? So that's how I like to think of shadow work. When you properly repair and heal from shadow work, it helps you lead a more like fulfilling life. And in order for this to work, you have to be willing, to own these parts of you. So it's a really good practice for accountability. So how can you do this, right? So a couple things, just for time's sake, you got to pay attention to how you react to things. If you pay attention close enough, you can start to trace those triggers and see where those emotions actually stem from. So most of the things that trigger me, I can trace back to, oh, I don't like when people ghost me or ignore my texts, because growing up, I always had to fight for, my voice to be heard, and people would always kind of push me to the side and not pay attention to me, different things like that. So like, that's part of my shadow work and my healing and my journey of trying to figure out why am I so sensitive sometimes about certain things. Okay. And then another way is journaling. Oh, love this so much. So there are so many prompts online for free that you can get where they just really ask you a question, and it forces you to, really dive deep and really, really, like, if you're taking this serious, really dive deep and think about, okay, why is it that I fly off the handle at, whatever situation. So this is a really good way to do some shadow work, a nice cheap / free alternative for you. And I'll actually link a shadow work questionnaire thing that I have that I got from TikTok. It's like 400 questions, so you have plenty to choose from if you want to. If you're really serious about taking that next step and into your shadow work and your healing. So that's really all I have for y'all today. I know it was kind of like bleakish, but These are important topics, I think. And yeah, I just want us, I just want us to heal and grow together. And yeah, so that's all I have for y'all today. Enjoy your time with your families, and I will talk to you tomorrow. Bye now. Thank you for listening. Please make sure to subscribe if you haven't already and follow all the socials at MamMaJism. That's MamMaJism. If you decide you want to financially support me, on my accounts you'll be able to find out how. Thanks in advance. Until we meet again, please be kind to one another. And from the bottom of my heart, I love you.